Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode, I almost fell, of Cage Talk. Remember, every Thursday, a new fighter, a new story. We have professional fighter. His name is Dre Miley. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, buddy. How you doing?
I'm pretty good. Quick question before you start. As you can tell, this side of my room, I'm a big Tennessee Titans fan. You're from Tennessee. By any chance, are you a Titans fan or you don't watch the NFL at all?
I like the Titans, except for when they play the Ravens. But yeah, I'm a Titans fan.
I mean, yeah, it didn't happen for us last year, but the following year was nice. But
Oh yeah,
yeah, but definitely, yeah. I usually try to make a trip to Nashville once a year, just to watch a game and stuff like that. Again, big Titan fan, and if no one's ever checked out my Mr. Titan channel on YouTube as well, interview a bunch of Titan players and stuff like that, and talk about the Titans.
nice.
Yeah,
I have
yeah.
to check that out.
Yeah, definitely, man. It's good. I mean, my buddy right there, Gerald McGrath, he played for the Titans in 08, 09 and stuff like that. And good friends with him. So when I go to Nashville, I usually hang out with him. He's a stellar dude, man. Real cool guy.
Man, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, man. But other than that, this is about you, man. I want to hear about your interesting story. If no one's ever heard of Dre, today they will. All right. We'll do it
All
like
right.
the Dr. Dre forgot about Dre. We're gonna bring it back. I'm gonna be Eminem, and you're gonna be Dr. Dre. Let's do it, man. Let's talk
It
about
works
your
for me.
story. So go ahead, man. Tell the world who you are and what you do.
My name is Dre Miley. I am a professional MMA fighter out of Knoxville, Tennessee. I am to my knowledge, the only pro fighter with one eye. I'm currently at a 7-3 record right now in the bantamweight division. That's pretty much it. I'm father of three. About to get married here pretty soon, couple months.
Congrats.
So, yeah, thank you. So, we come from a really good gym at Knoxville Martial Arts Academy. Like, we put out a lot of really great fighters. So, everybody goes to a big show, and hopefully I'm the next person to get there. So, that's what everybody keeps telling me, so I'm believing it.
There you go, man. That's all you have to do is pretty much believe in yourself. Don't worry about it, and let your skills do the talking, right?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's good to talk. I like stirring the pot with people sometimes. Because people go on my Instagram, you'll see it. Like, I'll make memes of people and things like that. It's just good fun. Like, I don't understand why you have to fight and you have to be serious. Like, it's not to the death, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's fun. We're supposed to be having fun. We're fighters. And, like, it's already bad enough you got to starve yourself and go through all that craziness. But people take it too far. Like, I don't get it. Like, this is what you get to do for a living. How many people get to say, I get to, fight someone for a living? I get locked in a cage and I get to make X amount of dollars, or I get to do it just for fun. Like, that's something that you hear in old Roman times. People,
Yep.
I don't get it. People are like, it's gotta be serious. I gotta be serious. I gotta be angry all the time. Like, no, dude, just chill out. Like, it's just have fun with it.
I agree with you on that kind of that level of. Even when I interview some fighters, some of them are kind of tense and stuff. For the most part, some of them are loose and more relaxed, which it makes the interview, the video a lot easier for me. But some of them are still, I guess, stuck in that mindset. I'm like, damn, man, I'm not even gonna fight. I'm not even gonna throw a jab at you, man. I'm just throwing questions at you, kind of relax. So again, everyone has their own kicks, but I do like the way you kind of carry yourself. And so again, your job is already serious. Why kind of be serious? Kind of being serious all the time is probably tiring as well.
Yeah, it's mentally taxing on you. It's like, dude, you can do all that meanness in the cage, but you be mean in the cage. Like, you gotta understand, you got 15 minutes to work. And if I'm out there having fun and you over there trying to kill me, guess who's gonna have more energy come time the second, third round? If you don't if either one of us don't get each other out of the first round. So
definitely.
I never understood.
Let's talk about your history and were you born with just a one eye? How did that come about? If you could explain it to the audience, please.
Well, I grew up just like any other kid, just playing sports in the backyard. And when I got into school sports, I used to live in Texas. And my mom like made me play football and made me do stuff to get me out the house. And plus, I was already wanting to do sports anyways. Like in my
Okay.
family, there's no such thing as you don't play sports. Everybody played sports in my family. So, and when I say everybody, I mean everybody. Like the whole house is full of ex basketball players, football players, baseball players. So you automatically get brought into it.
Yeah.
So, playing football, and then I moved up here when I was about 14. Well, I moved back up here when I was 14 because I was born here. And I started playing football. I was doing pretty good at it. I played a lot in high school, had good scholarships. And I went to go to this basketball game with one of my friends. And my friend had his little brother, and I had my little cousin with me because we were coaching them at the time. And he was like, yeah, man, just come ride with me, and we'll go do this and knock this out because we was doing a school project. I was like, all right, cool. We'll do that. Well, it was this real sharp road in my hometown, and he swerved it. Like, he took it very carelessly, and it doesn't take much. Like, if you're not paying attention, that road just, boom, takes you out. But he swerved, hit the tree, and, like, what happened was, and this is what I've been told, and it makes sense to me now, is that my cousin and my friend's little brother that was in the back seat of the car was flying towards the windshield. And I had turned towards my left to catch them. And I slammed them back into the back seat. And by the time I turned back around, I had smashed into the dashboard, which cut my eye open from back to front. It cut my retinas, all that stuff. So that was enough to deal with it. And, yeah, so that's how I got it.
Wow.
So
Now dealing with that and that, I mean, that obviously is a traumatic incident. How was the recovery process? I guess once you got out of the hospital, this and that, when they explained stuff to you, what do you kind of remember doctor saying, or the procedures? The eye was completely, like, there was no turning back. That it was it.
yeah, there was no saving the eye. They told me that. At this time I was like 17 years old. I just had I had my whole life right in front of me, like colleges and everything. We're like, yeah, we're going to do this, XYZ, you're going to play here, yada, yada, yada. Everybody's excited. And then they're like, you can't see. When we can't get your vision back, your eye's pretty much gone. 17 years old, your whole life just crumbled. So, I mean, if it, I went through serious mode of depression where, like, I didn't want to do anything. I stayed in my room, like, I blacked out every light in my room. Like, I didn't come out of my room unless it was time to eat or shower. And then after that, I went right back in my room. Like, I couldn't do it. My grandparents was like, you got to do something. Like, you can't be like this. And my grandma was, like, very sympathetic. She's like, you take as much time as you need. And my grandfather, he's a very, like, man's man. He's, like, very rugged. He's like, listen, son, it's like, you can keep sitting in here and being upset, hating life or being depressed, but you can go out here and do something. Like, you need to get out the house. Like, go do something. Oddly enough, I got out. I was like, all right, fine. I can't play football no more. Let's see what else I can get into. And then I was just getting out, trying to get my weight back, and you try to get back into being social and stuff like that. And next thing you know, I stumbled on, like, UFC. So like, after I graduated, I went through all that. I graduated. I didn't want to be in college anymore. So something kept telling me to go back home. So I went back home, and, like, I caught UFC on TV. And at the same time, I wasn't doing anything. Grandfather kept telling me, you got to do something. You got to do something. So I was like, all right, fine. I'm going to try this. I'm going to try this because it looks cool. Like, we grew up fighting in, neighborhoods anyways. So, like, if we weren't playing basketball or football, we was fighting with, like, boxing gloves and everything.
Yeah.
And then you always fought. We always fought. Like, it didn't matter. So if your cousin got crazy with you, they start talking slick, everybody start fighting. And then 10, 15 minutes later, you're cool with them. So I was like, all right, let me try this out. I went there, found KMA through a person. He was like, hey, I know this gym that you can go to, so on and so forth. I said, all right, cool. I checked it out. And then I've been with those guys ever since.
Wow.
And that's been roughly 12 years ago.
Okay. Wow, man. That's a hell of a story. How did transitioning from like your vision when going into MMA again? Because I mean, if you I mean, if you, I mean, cover your eye and then try to fight like that. That's pretty intense, man. I mean,
Oh yeah.
how did that? Who worked with you on, I guess, getting a game plan? Right. That's, I mean, basically, you needed to get a game plan for anyone who you fought. Did you fight southpaw? Did you fight? Were you righty? Like, how did that work? How did all that come to about on
Uh,
dealing with this?
I talked to my coaches like before. I had no intention on fighting. Like I said, I was just trying
Okay.
to build up my confidence and like I want to, get good at it. And my coach was like, "Hey, because I would come every single day. Like it was not a day that I missed, and like I would mix up with the amateur fighters and some of the pro fighters. And my coach was like, "Hey, let's see if you can do this." I was like, "I have no idea what I'm doing." I'm talking about at this point, I was throwing like wild haymakers, like my technique was close to Francis Ngannou's like overhands, but that was every punch I threw.
Swinging.
Yeah, just swinging. I was like, all right. He's like, well, just tackle him. Like, you played football. Just tackle the person. It's like, oh, okay, I can do that. And then after that, they realized, like, okay, this kid actually, has potential. And they was like, hey, would you like to fight? I was like, sure. I was like, all right, I'll think about it. Next thing you know, I'm fighting. My coach, Eric Turner, he's a he's a genius when it comes to this MMA game. It's really ridiculous. Like just being around him and listen to him talk and see how he fixes things is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
He's got me to the point where like most people will, they have their own like how to fight and stuff like that. Most people can key on different things. He's got me keying on like body language. So like I obviously can't see on my left side. So I always got to keep my left hand up as it should be. But like at the same time, it's like use that to your advantage. So he's developed my left hook to be like the best punch that I got. And whenever it comes time for me evading punches, I know what to look at, where to look at, how to get there. So for a while there, the depth perception was messing with me. I can remember like doing drills that involved me like catching tennis balls or, reaching out for stuff and trying to hit miss with my eye and stuff like that. So I mean, he did a lot of great things with me and for me. He's still continuing to do the things now. So, a big, big, big thank you to him for making me who I am right now.
Gotcha. So he basically developed your left hook as probably your biggest weapon just because they would attack that side, correct?
Yeah. Because,
Yeah,
overhand is good for everybody. Cross is good for everybody
absolutely.
who's right-handed. But he was like, your left side is going to be the side that everybody goes to. I was like, well, yeah.
Mm.
He's like, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to develop this left hook. So that way when people come by, you just smack them with it. And, like, sure enough, that's what usually happens. And, like, I'm already, I love being on the ground with people. So takedowns will come second nature, stay on top of somebody's second nature because in football and off season, we would wrestle. Like, my high school didn't have a wrestling team. So my coach would, like, make us do drills where we had to, like, take each other down, hold each other down and stuff like that. So it all seemed to click.
All right, so it all eventually flowed together, and I bet you probably the beginning was probably frustrating as hell for you, just trying to get the dynamics, the distance, and getting that all figured out. How many
Oh,
what other techniques did they use for, especially for your eye and stuff like that? Was there any like you said there was something with the tennis ball, you catching the tennis ball, like other drills like that?
it's most like it's the tennis ball is the main thing.
Mm-hmm.
And like, reaching out for like jabs and stuff, make sure I'm touching the person. And, it's really most of the stuff is footwork. Like that's really what all I've been doing is nothing but footwork. So like I know where my feet have to be in order to beat somebody on an angle or how to make that person go to the side that I want them to go to. Because I know everybody's gonna go to the left side.
Yep.
So it really doesn't matter because I know what to do. I know how to fix it. So that's what I really stayed at, and then just consistently sparring and drilling with people, And at one point, he had made me roll, and he makes a lot of people do this, especially like people who fight what they see, like in ground game or stuff like that, especially punching and stuff. He's like made me be like pretty much blindfolded, like I can't open my eyes whether I'm getting punched at, kicked at, or even on the ground. He'll blindfold me and be like, all right, I just want you to feel where everything's at. Like, I just want you to move. Don't worry about getting hit. If you get hit, it's okay. And so stuff like that, it's like very like anime-ish, and I like it because I'm like, okay, this feels very cartoonish. So, you know,
But it
it
works.
makes it fun. Yeah, it works. 100% it works.
And for your sensories, so say like, touching, smelling, all that kind of does it like almost like hyping up almost a little bit more when you have, like, say you have the blindfold and stuff. I mean, there's other things that kind of get unlocked that normal people wouldn't go through that. I mean, if you put a blindfold on, I mean, your other senses kick in like automatically. It's the craziest thing. And
Yeah.
um that's actually a really good technique, regardless of the person, like you said, regardless if in your situation or not. I think that's a really, really good technique and something to learn, because even in the fight, say someone, kicks you and you get a toe in your eye or something, and you're kind of partially blind from that toe for the time being, you got to adjust in the fight, you know?
Yep.
And
Yeah.
I mean, that's amazing. I mean, again, kudos to for him and your game plan. Again, your record shows that, I mean, it's been working, right? And again, you kind of know what your opponent's going to kind of do, just because they're going to go for the left side. Like you said, they're going to always go for the left side. Regardless, that's something they're always going to go in any game plan that you fight. I mean, they might switch it up, but again, at the end of the day, they'll probably go for the left side.
Oh yeah, 100%. And the crazy thing is that I'm still fairly new to this fight game. Like the pro side, I'm fairly new to it. You know, people are like, "Oh, you have 10 fights." It's like, well, you gotta understand, 5 of those fights came in 1 year. So,
Wow.
like, yeah, there's one time I had fought 5 times in 1 year, and it's that's what usually happens. Like if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. People are like, "Oh, that's just a moniker. That's just the cult saying." It's like, no, that's really what it is. If he's like, "Hey, can you fight this day?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm on weight." I'm like, "Hey, I'm 10 pounds off," or you're like within 15 or whatever. You can take that. I can make weight easy, especially if it's 35. Oh, I can cut 35 pretty easily. But I mean, it's one of those things. People like I had one opponent after he backed out. Before he backed out, was like, you fought one against one good person, and that person beat you. You don't do well against people winning records. I was like, you do realize that I've only been pro for about 5 years. Like everybody else is like double experience as me,
Yeah.
and like you're like, oh, I've been fighting for like 10+ years. Like, okay, that's cool. And I've been fighting for 5 as a pro, and I have the same record, if not a better record than you. So what are we doing here?
Yeah.
So it's crazy.
Yeah, regardless, at the end of the day, I look at it like you kind of have to like erase. Not trying to bring back the Titans, unfortunately, but you kind of have to race. It's almost like the regular schedule, like the regular season. A team can
Mm-hmm.
go really good, like the Ravens. The following last year, the following they were 14-2, and then they go in the playoffs and they're one and done. So just because the record shows that doesn't mean that's what it leads up to. So again, I think when it comes to fight the fight game, and you're going in the cage, I think records don't mean shit. I mean, they really
No,
don't. At the end of the day, I mean, he could catch you, you could catch him. It doesn't matter. I mean, there's always a puncher's chance and stuff like that. And that's, I guess, the mentality. I mean, I would go into, in a fight like
mm-hmm.
that. So,
So
but
a lot of people they get that wrong. It's like a misinterpretation about people who like, oh, well, you got a winning record, you got to
yeah,
go somewhere. It's like you got to fight people. So no, it's a fight.
yep,
It's just it's for the other person to keep track of, for the betting odds and for
mm-hmm.
people like promoters and stuff like that, because it's easier to keep track of. Like I've seen people who are like undefeated fight somebody who is like never won a fight in their life, and the person that never won that fight in their life almost beats that person.
Yeah,
So I mean, it's a fight, regardless of what do you say. Oh well, you got it. But if he's like 11-0 or he's 12-2, it's like okay, he can still lose. Like it happens. You see it all the time. This is why this sport is so cool, because it doesn't matter how badass you are, how good you are. You can still lose to anybody.
yeah. You just got it. It doesn't matter if you're the better fighter. You just got to be the better fighter that night. and that's all it
Mm-hmm.
takes. That's all it
That's
takes.
all it takes.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And that's, again, like you said, that's what makes the sport so exciting. And that's why I will never bet. People always ask me and stuff like for bets and shit. I'm like, nah, I don't do that because I mean, I like money. I like my money, and I don't like losing.
Yeah.
I don't like going to the casino and playing because I don't like losing. So
Mm-mm.
I just stay away from that, you know?
Yeah, I don't blame you. The most betting I do is when I'll make UFC. I'll do the picks, and then that's it.
Okay.
And people are like, you don't put money on? I was like, no, I'm not putting no money on this. Like, no.
Yeah, the only thing I think I ever put money on was the slot machines in Vegas when I went and I put $5 and I lost them quicker than I put it, the money in the machine. And I said, yeah, I'm okay. I don't think I could eat with that or I could drink with that. Like I'd rather not do any of that. So,
Yeah, 100%.
but well, all right, man. Well, what is your future? What's your goal? Well, where would you like to be in a couple of years? Maybe 1 year, 2 years. I don't like to go like 5 years. 5 years, I think it's too far out. I think I would like to say like 2.5, 3 years.
2 years. I would like to say I'd be well established in UFC at this point. So
Okay.
about this time, I should be like have a number next to me at the bantamweight division. You know, doesn't matter what number, but long as I'm up there, because I see the guys that fight there now. I'm like, oh, I could hang with these guys. Like, oh, I could actually beat this person.
Mhm.
So that's what I would like. I'm trying to get to UFC by summertime of this year. So that way I can go through there and just start, doing my thing and hopefully clean house with everybody. So that's always been the plan. Like I used to think like, oh, I would never make it. Especially last year, I was like, I'll never make it. People were saying it, but then like when I fought against somebody who went to the UFC and then like hearing him say that was his toughest fight, and I went back and watched that fight, I was like, damn, I almost finished him.
Mhm.
So, it's a big feather in the cap, and then
Definitely.
it's crazy.
Yeah, it's just the mental game, man. As long as you believe it and your camp or whoever you're working with believes it, I mean, the sky's the limit, man. And um, I can't wait. I'll have a check mark by your name, man. And any fight that you have, I'll be rooting for you, and hope for nothing but the best for you, man. I
I
do.
appreciate that.
And I'm glad that we had this talk, man. I'm glad people are going to know about you if they didn't know before, but now they do. This is what the podcast is all about, And if
Yeah.
is there anything you want to say to anyone, maybe inspirational or just something that you have on your chest that you didn't get off that you wanted to say? I mean, this is the time before I let you go, brother.
Okay. No, I just want to say thank you to Knoxville Martial Arts Academy, Eric Turner and Taylor Turner, James Adcock, Jason King, Ovin St. Preux. Everybody, has helped me get to where I'm at, and I'm doing my best to keep you guys on your toes and pushing everybody forward. No, that's the best team in the South right now. Soon will be the world. So, I mean, we all like a family. We all push each other, help each other get better. Frankie's Body Shop for, keeping me in tip-top shape. There's never a day where I don't miss unless I have to. It's, it's just a wonderful thing knowing that you can inspire people. Like, I guess, like, the words of wisdom I'll say is, like, you can do whatever you want to do, but you have to believe it first. It's not that, your mom or dad or whoever says you can't do it. You can do it. Like, if you believe it, you can do it. And also, closed mouths don't get fed. I heard that growing up my whole life, and that seems to be sticking a lot with me. Because growing up, there's a lot of cousins, a lot of family members. They're like, hey, if you don't speak up, you can't get your spot. So they always say closed mouths don't get fed. If you want something, you want to do something, you got to speak up.
Speak up.
You got to do it. Yeah, you got to speak up.
Mm-hmm.
Can't just be like hoping that somebody notices you on the street and be like, oh, well, what do you do? It's like, because in
Exactly.
this world,
You gotta put yourself out there, man.
yeah, you have to, because everybody in this world is trying to eat, and there's not enough food out there for everybody to eat. That's why everybody's, gunning for each other. You see people take each other down and stuff like that. We live in a world where it's eat or be ate. So you gotta open that mouth to be fed.
Absolutely.
I want to say thank you to my kids, Cameron, Uriah, Jordan. for being great kids and helping me become a better man for you guys, become a better father. My fiance, soon to be wife, Kay Varela, she's probably the best thing that's ever happened to me. She's helped me become just an overall better person. Without her, I probably wouldn't be where I'm at. I wouldn't have the mindset. It'd be a lot harder to have the mindset that I am.
Yes, sir.
She's there with me every step of the way. She's my hype person. I'm her hype person. So we're
That's
gonna
awesome.
do this thing. And then thank you for having me on. I've been dying to get on this show because I see all the people that you have. I'm like, man, I need to get on there and see if he'll let me talk. So I
Hey, man,
appreciate it.
no problem, man. Again, like I said, it doesn't matter if you're amateur, pro, if you're in the UFC, Bellator. I don't care. If you're in combat sports and you have a story or you want to get something off your chest, man, hear it. I don't discriminate at all. I don't care. Like I said, anyone's welcome on the show. And again, I'm glad that we made this happen, man. And I'm glad I got to hear your story. And like I said, you got a fan, and I'll be rooting for you. Just hit me up when you get a fight for the
Oh yeah.
possible next fight, man. And who
Oh yeah.
knows? Maybe we'll eventually run into each other in a Titans game. You never know. See, again, I'm
There
all
you go.
about the Titans, man.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I do have a fight. April 2nd, Cotton Eye
Okay.
Joe in Knoxville. I am fighting.
Okay.
I
April.
am so yeah, April 2nd. That's coming up in a few weeks. So stay tuned. I'll be posting a lot of stuff about it. You have all the information, how to see it, pay-per-view, all that good stuff.
All right, man. April 2nd. All right. I'll be like I said, I'll be rooting for you, man. And I hope you have a good day, man. And God bless, brother.
All right, you too, man. Thank you.
Have a good one.